to a story from our very good friends at xboxera.com. Now, obviously, we're all good friends with Jesse Norris, who wrote this particular story. John and Special Nick, great human beings. Have had a chance to hang out with John. Hopefully, we'll hook back up this June during all the the E3 festivities. Maybe Nick will find his way over there. I hope Jesse goes as well. It'd be great to kind of just hang out and meet, and in IRL, as the kids like to say. But this particular story is very interesting, and it involves Gears of War, gentlemen. Now, according to Jesse Norris, who wrote the story for XboxEra.com, it says Ecstasies, which of course is a Spanish YouTuber who has massive connections, ladies and gentlemen. I know him personally, and the guy does not talk out the side of his neck. He does have great sources. Well, according to Ecstasies, Gears of War E-Day, which was debuted last June, is happening and being released in 2026. And the Gears of War collection, that announcement apparently is happening in June during the showcase for both the Xbox Series XS and PS5. Now, there was a lot of back and forth with a lot of people in the community of which way it was going to go. Was Gears of War E-Day this year and the collection next year to kind of celebrate the 20th anniversary of the actual IP? I actually think that made sense. But now we're hearing it the other way around, where the Gears of War collection for both the Xbox and the PlayStation 5 will be announced. Now, they didn't say it was going to be released in June. I would imagine that could come the way of a holiday release later this year. And again, this is all speculation, but I do want to read verbatim from the article. And I will have this article linked in the show notes if you want to read it yourself. According to Jesse Norris, Ecstasies has put out a new video which claims that Gears of War E-Day is aiming for a 2026 release, and that the long-rumored Gears of War collection, or the Marcus Fenix collection, ladies and gentlemen, will be announced as a full multi-platform release this June. Now, again, I'm going to read verbatim according to what Ecstasy said during his video, and this is what it said. A source told Ecstasies that Gears of War E-Day is scheduled for 2026, with a very slim possibility of being moved forward to 2025. The source also told him the long-desired Gears of War collection is currently scheduled for 2025, with a reveal set for the Xbox showcase this year. The game is also coming to PS5, Xbox Series XS, and PC day one. As of the writing, there is no information on the Nintendo Switch 2 port, so it's likely that it's not in the works as yet. Jamie Moran, let's get into Gears of War, because we've been talking about this story for, it seems like, over a year, right? The Gears of War collection, which of course is rumored to be called the Marcus Fenix collection, remade from the ground up. And Umbra, will come back to you, brother, in Unreal Engine 5, which is going to be amazing. Now, I also have heard that some of the original cutting room footage, because that's what happens with film, it happens with games. They're making the game, some things get cut for time, something gets cut for memory. Some of those original set pieces that were not in Gears 2, were not in Gears 3, again, this is a rumor, folks, could find its way into this collection the same way that you had that PC-only level for the original Gears of War that was added to, of course, the Ultimate Collection. And again, it's a rumor. The Gears of War collection is supposed to include Gears 1, 2, and 3 redone from the ground up. Well, apparently, according to Xbox Era's report from Ecstasies, we thought it was reverse order. It turns out that the Gears of War collection this year is going to get announced during June. That's going to be a big announcement. I'm going to be ass and seat there, ladies and gentlemen, and I will be covering it live for you there. Jamie, let's get your thoughts on the report from Xbox Era.
Oh, I feel like we've been talking about the Gears of War collection forever. um, I mean, look, I love Gears of War. It's one of my favorite franchises, and I think to come out with a collection for the longest time has made a lot of sense. They did the same with Halo Master Chief Collection. Granted, it launched in a terrible state, but now it's a beautiful product.
Yeah, chef's kiss.
Yeah, and when it comes to Gears, like already you can play them at 4K 60, right? So they already look good, they play good. Like I think the only way you get people really interested is if the basically remakes like Ultimate Edition. That's what Ultimate Edition is. They remade every asset. The only thing that's the same is the voice acting. It has the cut PC content. The visuals were gorgeous. So like, if they do Ultimate Edition style for 2 and 3, I'll be happy because like Gears of War 2 is one of my favorite games of all time. I've played through that campaign probably 20 times, and I do not get sick of it at all. So if it's on that level, I'll be happy. The interesting thing is, will it include the multiplayer? Because
interesting,
Gears 1 through 3, the multiplayer, it's kind of different from each other, just slightly. And then you have the horde modes, which are very different from each other. So like, who knows what's going to happen there? Judgment being left on the table. I know people might like or dislike that, but I think it like outside of the multi-platform stuff, it just makes sense. People have been asking for this for a very long time. Like hell, I've been asking for this since Ultimate Edition first came out. So I can totally see it happening. Like I said last week, it makes sense to put that out this year and then hype up E-Day, which is the fancy new game. And I think Gears fans are very they hungry, right? It's been a long time since we've had Gears of War content, and I think the last time we had major, third-person shooter Gears of War content was Hivebusters in 2020. So it's been a while, and I think people are ready. I'm just excited to see what they could do with it because, like, look, if this is just the versions we have already, but they are native Xbox versions with 4K 60 like what we have now, you know what? I'll still play them. I'll get the achievements, but they have to be Ultimate Edition style games, and that is a tall thing to ask for because those are full remakes. Every asset built from the ground up, especially for that version. So like, I hope they do that because like, even though Gears of War 2 is one of my favorite games of all time, what they could do with Gears 3 visually, my God, like Gears 3 back on the 360 was pushing that machine to its bloody limit. And I'd love to see what they could do with Unreal Engine 5, all the fancy new features, maybe import Ultimate Edition into Gears of War 5 and put, fancy new lighting into that. But it will be interesting because, when this comes out, there'll be a Switch 2 out in the mix. People keep talking about PlayStation, but I think the Switch 2 is actually the more interesting platform because that thing's going to basically outsell everything, and it's not even out yet. And the handheld market's picking up. I think like you have people in chat doing the Xbox doom and gloom and stuff over the multi-platform stuff. Like we already know this multi-platform stuff's happening, and like you're saying, Boom, like Xbox's problem with marketing is that, right? They tend to do the wrong thing at the wrong time. Like Xbox is my favorite platform, right? I honestly think PlayStation is a boring platform, right? There's no first party content. Everyone's talking about Xbox games, and when they do get games, they either remasters, they make their consumers upgrade and pay to upgrade for their games, and people are just talking about multi-platform stuff because that's all they've got, But Xbox, they do these things where they have this amazing lineup of games coming, including like they have so many new titles coming out that when they come out with a remaster or a collection, that's a bonus game, right? That's a bonus game, and
which
Xbox,
which very well may be Oblivion, which is rumored to be announced at this show as well. And there's your bonus.
And like that's another bonus game, but you also have like Xbox does mess up. So, like, even though they have these great games coming, they announced the Xbox Series X a year before the console comes out, so they kill off Xbox One X sales. They talk about multi-platform stuff at the beginning of 2024, and it makes everyone freak out. You know, we saw people lose their marbles on Twitter. And you know, people were acting like it was the end of the world. Do you know what normal people, not normal gamers that don't spend their life on social media, they don't listen to gaming podcasts or even watch gaming news, like actual Xbox gamers that take up the majority of gamers, they have no idea this stuff's going on, by the way. They have no idea. But Xbox, they do mess up with these things. You know, marketing isn't their best strong suit. They have the best console on the market that has backwards compatibility with 3 previous generations. And do you know what? It doesn't mention anywhere on the box that it has backwards compatibility with 360 titles, even though it's one of their biggest features. It's not even on there. So, like, yeah, I'm straying away from gays here, but I just want to make a point that, like,
No, please, by all means, this is a conversational podcast, so by all, you know,
like Xbox's biggest problem for 20 years was like, hey, they don't have enough studios to put out games regularly. That was essentially it, right? No matter all their faults, right? Like the original Xbox didn't really have any controversies around it. The 360 is their best-selling console of all time, but it had the worst launch. It had a 50% failure rate to the point where Steve Ballmer basically had to write a check for over $1 billion to fix the problem, right? And they made a power move. But through that generation, they released a handful of games, but each one sold over like 10 million copies. And then with the Xbox One, you had the DRM thing. But with the Xbox Series consoles, what's actually gone wrong? Like, what's the controversy? That they want to put games on other platforms. Like, that's the thing that's made people freak out. It's not back in 2005 where everyone was buying a 360 and it was breaking. It wasn't 2013 when, you know, they had an Xbox One come out and the entire media was against them. Everything was, hey, DRM this, 720p that. They have an amazing console right now, and they have an amazing lineup of games. And despite all that, you have the competition that aren't putting out basically a roadmap for their consumers outside of what a few games. They're charging like they get nickel and dimes. They are charged for cloud saves. Nobody bats an eye. Yeah, Xbox wants to put some games on PlayStation, and it's the end of the universe, heat death of the universe. And it's like we see the rest of the industry crumbling all around. You have Take-Two, you have Ubisoft, EA firing these developers left and right, studios closing down, Monolith shut down, even though they put out consistent good games, you know. So like this industry, it's in a weird place at the minute. Xbox putting games on other platforms, it is a bit of a freaky thing, right? It's weird, you know, but does that really make me as an Xbox fan like not an Xbox fan anymore? I prefer the platform, I prefer the features, and I prefer the games. And honestly, the platform's better, the community's better. So like
the controller's better.
The controller's better, the controller's comfortable. We have proper achievements. You know, like the Xbox UI is actually, you know, you have this integrated ecosystem where I can play my 360 games and pull my saves from the cloud. You know, by the way, last year I pulled a save from Oblivion from 2008, right? Because I wanted some footage. And like that, and that the biggest benefit of PC gaming is what? Backwards compatibility. You can play games going back to like Zork and Pong, right? You know, Xbox, they have backwards compatibility going 3 generations. So yeah, Gears of War, a bit of a tangent. Gears of War going to other platforms, it does seem a bit weird, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really affect me. I'm going to play the game on my preferred platform with a good controller that doesn't feel like it's going to break, where the thumbsticks aren't next to each other. By the way, I don't know why anyone finds that comfortable. Asymmetrical is the way to go. But like the Gears of War collection, we've been wanting this since 2015, the Marcus Fenix collection. If they do it right in its Ultimate Edition style, and it has maybe, you know, the multiplayer and the Horde mode, they're going to have an excellent product. But if it's just a bare bones port of the games we already have,
I don't think it's gonna be, dude. They've been working on this particular. Again, it's rumor, folks. Take it with a grain of salt. They're working on this for years, and it was them to hone their skills for Unreal Engine 5. This was I don't want to use the word test bed, but it was them to get better at using Unreal Engine 5, which we've seen them not only do for themselves based on the simple trailer that we saw, but they've also helped Obsidian with Avowed. They helped Ninja Theory with Hellblade 2. So there is a team that goes around that was comprised of people that worked at the coalition. This quote unquote mystery A team that they're they exist, folks, and they're going around from studio to studio training people to use Unreal Engine 5. I don't think this is going to be like, a color by number kind of a situation. I think what we're going to get is going to be incredibly impressive.
Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong. I do think it's going to be on the Ultimate Edition side. I'm just saying that if it's, just a port, which I doubt it will be. But I will say this. We're not seeing release dates for a lot of games this year because, big old scary Rockstar games. Like a lot of developers are just waiting for them to put the bloody release date out for Grand Theft Auto. I do think that Microsoft will release the Gears collection in August.
It's possible right before the holiday. Sure, that makes sense. They announced it in June. They release it in August. That'd be great.
Yeah, because like it's going to be a packed year, and will Microsoft still have a big game for the end of the year? Who really cares at this point? Everyone's going to be buying Grand Theft Auto. But like, it's going to be a good year, and plus, when you have a good year already, and then you throw Gears of War collection and Oblivion remake, which is that's basically meant to be coming out by July. If anyone really complains, then what can I do? But as a consumer on Xbox, I'm perfectly happy.
Yeah, I see a lot of people. Shout out to Nate. First of all, great points all around, Jamie. Nate in the chat. Welcome back, brother. Nice to see you here. He said the Tony Hawk just revealed the game. Yeah, listen, we'll probably get into it tomorrow or even Thursday or Friday. At this point, we knew it was coming out. The cat's out of the bag. We were supposed to have the information an hour before the show went live, and they delayed it. I'll check it out afterwards. But I again appreciate all the information. I
was going to say, Boom, you could possibly highlight the video of it.
It just got announced.
I could do that. You know what? Let me find.
It's up to you.
Hold on just a second. You know what? As I look for it, I do want to get Infinite Number your thoughts and your theories regarding the reverse order now. Again, we had originally thought that Gears of War E-Day happening this year, Gears of War, the Marcus Fenix Collection happening next year. Now, I originally thought that made sense because what you would ultimately do is get where Gears started and then, of course, get where Gears went, celebrating the 20th anniversary. Well, that order, according to Ecstasies, has been reversed. It is now going to be at the June showcase, we will get a reveal of the Marcus Fenix Collection or the Gears of War Collection, which is containing Unreal Engine 5 versions of 1, 2, and 3, redone from the ground up. Now, what does that include? I have absolutely no idea. I know Jamie would be disappointed if it was just a single-player game. I actually wouldn't care because I never played multiplayer anyway, but I know some people would. And maybe it is, horde mode. Maybe it is the full-on, multiplayer mode. But apparently, according to Ecstasies and his particular sources, and he does have credible sources, that is happening. That announcement's coming this June. That's going to be really big. And, of course, Gears of War E-Day not being moved up from 2026. It is going to release in that year rather than be pushed up to 2025. Let's get your thoughts on the new report coming the way of Xbox Era via Ecstasies.
Yeah, it actually fits all into what I thought before. We talked about this before, and I said I believed E-Day would be 2026, if not 2027 for the next gen release. That was my thought. Two, it always made more sense to bring out the original collection first before you go to E-Day. To me, even though E-Day is a throwback, is visually superior So for me, I felt like, yeah, you want to get these other players who haven't had a chance to play the Gears of War series to get in on the ground floor from 1 through 3 first. That was my thinking, which is possibly just to throw it out there. I don't think this is the case. I heard it wasn't the case, but you never know that, they did this in order to make sure that PlayStation got the release on time as well. We don't know. I don't want to speculate that that's the case, but because I'm hearing it's not. But it does line up oddly enough where it's like, oh, we just so happen to be delayed, and because we've been hearing about this for so long. If anything, I would say that would make tickle me a little bit is the fact that finally, or as The Rock would say, finally, finally, Special Nick can rest his soul, because this man had been talking about this for the better part of 2 years now, where he's been saying this, a year and a half. He's been talking about this for so long, and it has not come to, as Boom would say, fruition. It would be something special to finally see this happen. He can finally claim his W through adversity all this time, and then just kick back and then bask in the joy and in glory. So yeah, but I'm excited as hell for it. But I will say, something tells me too that it will possibly be just single player. It doesn't feel, in my heart of hearts, I don't feel like they're going to give us the multiplayer suite fully, at least. Maybe the horde mode or something. I don't know.
It's going to be interesting to see where they take it. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. This is just me. I'm not a developer, right? I'm a gamer, like everyone in the chat right here, which, by the way, we have 820 people watching live. That is freaking crazy. Thank you so much for checking out the show, whether you're watching it on X or Twitter, watching it on YouTube, or the 1 or 2 people that actually watch it on Twitch. Thank you so much for checking it out. We super appreciate it. To try and get that many multiplayer maps into this game, I don't know. I mean, it seems like an impossible task. But then again, what the heck do I know? I'm not a developer. Look, this is me being very, very selfish. Extremely selfish. I apologize, multiplayer fans. Our brother, Crispy Bomb, is probably throwing tomatoes at the screen right now. Look, if they did what I originally thought, that they took Gears of War 1, 2, and 3, and they said, listen, we got to get really fluent with with Unreal Engine 5 for Gears E-Day. Let's remake this franchise using the tools, build it from the bottom up. If time is obviously of the essence. It's supposedly going to release as a multi-plat. Not only is it going to PlayStation 5, Series X, but it's going to PC as well. I personally do the single player. That's just me. I know get some booze in here. People are going to be like, yeah, I want the multiplayer. I get it. I understand exactly what you're saying. But I don't know if time allows for a trilogy remade from the ground up that includes multiplayer as well, Umbra. But it's a good question nonetheless.
That's my thinking. I don't think it will either. But I mean, I'm up to being wrong. I mean, it has been a long while for them finally for this to come out. So maybe, you never know. But I feel like since it's just a remake and they'll be coming out with E-Day a year later or so, it feels to me like at a point having it be that a multiplayer component in there would cut off by the time E-Day comes out. So I don't know how that would all work out, or maybe they'll do some type of MCC style thing or something. I don't know. But currently I don't see why they would have that then with E-Day arriving right after. How would they handle that? Because I'm sure E-Day is going to have multiplayer,
there's no doubt that it's going to have multiplayer for sure.
Yeah. So that's my thinking. That's more reason why, because I feel like they'd have to kind of have a cutoff for the servers for that to move to E-Day, or maybe they'll merge it somehow, or maybe they'll just be like, hell, we'll have both. I mean, you never know. I guess they could. It's not like they're confined to those rules, right? They could be like, no, we're gonna have both. Go play that on the line if you want to against people, or come here and play this version of E-Days on new gen version of it online against each other. I don't know. We'll see. I'll say that. But I am excited to finally see it. I cannot wait to see what magic they put on this game using the almighty Unreal Engine 5. I cannot
The
wait.
almighty. There you go,
The
sir.